So it's telling us that net present value is a method of evaluating the feasibility of an investment decision by determining the difference between the present values of all cash inflows and the present value of all cash outflows. All right, so that's what we're after, cash inflows and cash outflows. Now to calculate the net present value, the present value out is subtracted from the present value in. Now, if that number, the present value in, is greater than the present value out, of course, we get a net present value that is greater than 0 or positive. If the two are equal, the present value in is equal to the present value out, then we get a net present value equal to 0. And if the present value in is less than the present value out, we get a negative present value, which is less than 0. Okay, so how did we decide about a project, about an investment? All right, then we go to the criterion rule. All right, and we accept the project if the net present value is greater than or equal to 0, or reject the project if the net present value is less than 0. Of course, if a company is considering more than one project, but can choose only one, the project with the greater positive, meaning more money coming in, net present value, the greatest positive net present value is preferable. Other non-monetary considerations might be ethical, environmental, social, political, ethnic, etc. All right, so with that, we can start the quiz. This is quiz number 8. And we go to question number 1. So let's reset and then we can start. And there we go, first question. All right, so this is Khoury is the financial advisor for his company and is considering the purchase of excavation equipment, which will cost $75,000. Okay, the purchase of this equipment is expected to save his company $9,504 at the end of every year for 9 years. At the end of the 9 years, he expects the excavation equipment to have a residual value of $15,900, meaning it can be sold for $15,900 or something of that nature. Anyway, it has that value. Okay, the company requires a 5.7% rate of interest, and round the present value to the nearest cent and round the net present value to the nearest whole number. Okay, so what is the net present value of this equipment investment? So what we have to do is we have to compute the present value for both situations. We have a return and we have a residual. Okay, so let's start. We start with what? Well, we start with payment, correct? PY. So the purchase of this equipment is expected. Let's leave this $75,000 for now. So the purchase of the equipment is expected to save his company $9,504 at the end of every year for 9 years. So that means that PY is equal to 1, correct? 1 and enter. And we put PY is 1 there. All right, now this 5.7 rate of return, there is no compounding frequency mentioned. Now that is an example of where this statement will take precedent, meaning will give us the information that's required. If the compounding period is not provided, as is in this case, assume it to be annually compounding interest. So that means that CY will also be 1. So let's go back to the question now, and we will put in 1 for CY. All right, so N, you're looking at the number of years. We can use the calculator to do that. We can put in 9, and then we go second, n, and that would be 9. Okay, which is, in this case, it's really, if you're doing it manually, it would be 9 times 1, which would be equal to 9. Okay, all right, so that is how it's calculated. It's a number of years times the PY value. Okay, the interest rate is 5.7%. So we will insert the number in there. We're computing the present value of payment. Well, the company will save $9,504 at the end of every year for 9 years. So the payment is $9,504, correct? Yes, at the end of every year. All right, the future value, we will put 0 in there. Okay, and we will do this computation. Okay, so we stopped at n. We go now and insert the number for IY, which is 5.7. Present value, we are computing that. The payment is 9,504. So 9,504. And we enter that. And we put 0 for the future value, and then we compute the present value. And that turns out to be $65,495.78. I think it's best to put in positive value, but a negative value will also be marked correct in this part of the question. Okay, so that is the first part. Now there is another part which refers to the residual value of $15,900 right here. So that is a future value. So let's go and put it into the future value, $15,900. Okay. Now we have a case where it's more the compound interest type of a question. So CY is 1, and so will PY also be 1, because compound interest PY and CY are the same. Now this will also be 9 because it's 9 times 1. And this interest rate is still the same, 5.7. That is the company requires that rate of return. All right, so there we are, and we can compute, well, there's no payment, so we put 0 for payment, and then we can compute this present value. So let's go and check these numbers to make sure they're all correct. PY is 1, CY is also 1. We can recall the value for N, and it is 9. We can recall the value for IY, it is 5.7. All right, now we have to enter 0 for payment because previously there was a value of 9,504. Now there was no value for the future value, so now we will insert that number, 15,900. And there we are. And now we can compute the present value, and this gives us a number $9,654.33. Okay, now both of these are, this is a saving and this is also a residual value and inflow as it is stated on the top here. So that is the present value in. So let us go to this here. I extracted it from the content on Blackboard. So there we are, so that you will have a complete set of notes. Now the PV in, let us go and look at that. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go see if we can pull this over here maybe. If we can pull this in a little bit, we might be able to do both at the same time. So PV in is how much? See, it's 65,495.78 plus, so it's this number right here plus this number right here. But the second number is $9,654.33. Now, if you add those two numbers, let's do it on the calculator. We might have to move the calculator around so we can get visibility. So we have one number in there. That's the present value right there, $9,654.33. So let's add 65495.78. And that gives us a number of 75,150. Okay, 0.11, right? Okay, so we're finished with that part. Now, if we wish to go and get the PV out is what? Well, it's the cost. If the equipment is to be purchased for $75,000, then this would be present value out. Okay, so that is present, the present amount. So we just put in 75,000 in there. All right, now we come down here and we do the subtraction. So PV in is $75,150.11. And the present value out is $75,000. So if we subtract those two, we will get, I think, 150.11. Correct? If we wish, we could put in the 0.00 in there. All right, so let's bring up the calculator, and there we are. We can subtract this 75,000, and we will get a net value of $150.11. So that is the number that we have for the net present value. It's positive, but we round to the nearest dollar. As you can see right here, round it to the nearest dollar would be how much? Well, it'll be $150, correct? Yes, if we're rounding it to the nearest dollar. So this answer here, net present value, should be 150, and it is positive. So if we go to the, should this equipment purchase be made according to the net present value criterion? Well, we have it right here, except if the net present value is greater than or equal to 0. So it is positive, it's greater than 0. So the answer should indeed be yes. And we submit the question and hopefully it's correct. And there we are. We have it and it is correct. Okay, so that is very nice. Got it correct. And we can move on. Right, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 2, we adjust that, and maybe if we can just minimize that one there, the Word document, and then we come back over here. We see everything is fine. All the marks are in, 4 out of 4, and let's go to question number 2. All right, so question number 2, Mayowa is the financial advisor for his company and is considering the purchase of excavation equipment that will cost $99,000. The purchase of this equipment is expected to save his company $14,886 at the end of every year for 8 years. At the end of 8 years, he expects the excavation equipment to have a residual inflow value or residual value of 16,300. Company requires 6.8% rate of return. If it looks like the previous question, yes, it is. But we will treat the residual in a slightly different manner. We will put it all together and you will see as it develops. So the savings here, it's $14,886 at the end of every year for 8 years. So PY is 1, and as previously discussed, this rate of return, there is no compounding frequency, so it's annually, so CY will also be 1. Now this is going on for 8 years. So 8 times 1 will give us 8. If we wish, we could start to use the calculator. PY is 1, and so is CY. Right, the number of years is 8 years, so you go 8 second n, and n is 8. The interest rate is 6.8. All right, so 6.8 is the interest rate. The present value, well, that is what we wish to compute. The payment in this case, $14,886. So 14,886, correct? So let us put that in for the payment, 14886, and that is the payment, right? Okay, so future value now, what we will do is we will insert this residual value of $16,300. Okay, and then we will compute this present value. Sorry, the interest rate is 6.8. The present value is what needs to be computed. All right, so we have next to put in the future value, 16,300. And there we are. We compute the present value and we get a number. That number turns out to be $99,211.63. Now, remember, this is all done at once. There is a payment, there is a future value. If we go back to the previous question, what happened there was, you see, they were treated separately. This calculation, there was 0 for the future value. And then this calculation there is the future value or the residual value. So now this has been moved over here and there is just one set of calculations for this question. All right, so there we are. Okay, so that is what has happened. The payment is there and the future value is there and there is the present value. So we don't have to do a sum anymore. We can go to this here, this Word document, and if we scroll down, question number 2, there we are. We can go in here and put in that number, $99,211.63. All right. Okay, so there we are. All right, now what is PV out? Well, PV out is what? It's the cost of the equipment as was before. In this case, the cost is $99,000. So the PV out would be 99,000. Okay, now in minus out, we will have, it seems as though we will have a positive value in this case. So PV in is $99,211.63. And we subtract $99,000 from that. And with that, we will get a number looking like, okay, this number up here, let's put in the 0.00, and that would be equal to what? $211.63. So if we rounded that, we will get a number looking like $211, correct? Yeah, 211. No, sorry, 212. Why? Because we've rounded to the nearest dollar. So the 63, of course, it's greater than 0.50. So therefore, it would be 212 will be the answer. And it is also positive. So in here, we will insert the number 212. And so should the equipment be purchased? Well, the answer should be yes. Why? Because this number is positive. As was previously seen, it says that accept the project if the net present value is greater than 0, and it is in this case. So we can now submit, and everything is correct. All right? Okay. So in both cases, the net present value turned out to be positive, but it's not always like that. Okay, now next question is question number 3. Here we have 2 options. All right, so we have Kitchen Wilmot Hydro has 2 options for upgrading a natural gas power station to meet the new government standards. All right, so the first choice is to to do the upgrades themselves. Correct? Yes, do it yourself, DIY. This is expected to cost $10,600 at the end of each month for 14 years. All right, at the end of the operation, Kitchen Wilmot Hydro expects to sell all the equipment needed for the upgrade for $111,000. So that is the first option. The second option is to pay experienced contractors. Let other people do it. This would cost $28,000 upfront and $8,500 monthly for 12 months. Okay, assume all interest is 3.72 compounded monthly. Okay, so let's get to it and find out what is happening. All right, so we have two options. So option number one. Okay, what is option number one? Well, is to do the upgrades themselves. So let's see what happens here. It will cost, that's payment, $10,600 at the end of each month for 14 years. So payments are at the end of each month, so PY would indeed be 12, correct? Yes. And the compounding is also monthly, so that means that CY will also be 12. So PY is 12, CY is 12, and we can leave that. So we can come down here and put in PY as 12 and CY as 12, right? Then we have to get to N. Now, N depends on the number of years. And in the first option, be careful now, this is option one we're dealing with. And so it's 14 years. So we go 14, and we go second N, and N turns out to be 168. All right, interest is 3.72 compounded monthly. Okay, so there we are, 3.72 compounded monthly. Okay, what else is there? We're computing the present value because the comparisons are made on the present value. All right, they expect to sell all equipment needed for the upgrade for $111,000. I know, yes, you could have put it in this future value here, but we will keep it separate in this case because it's better for understanding that how it works. Now, the payment, there is a payment of, in this case, of $10,600 at the end of each month. So payment is $10,600. Present value is what the computation that is required. And that is the same over there. So future value here, we will put in a number of 0. All right, so let's do this part here. Over here, there will be no payment. And these numbers will actually, these numbers over here will just duplicate over here. And we will get that happening right there, 3.72. And we will compute again there. Okay, so let's do this first computation. So we're up to the N. Now let's put in the IY value, 3.72. Okay, present value we're computing. Payment is $10,600 each month. So let's go ahead and put that in, 10,600. And since we're paying, we can put that in as negative. And then we put 0 for the future value, and we compute a number for the present value. And that number is $1,386,466.79. Okay, so that is that first calculation there. Now the second one is where the sale of the equipment or the residual value, and that is expected to be in 14 years, $110,000. Okay, so remember everything remains the same except these last two numbers right here. So 0 must go in for the payment, and the 111 000 for the future value. And then we compute the present value. And that number turns out to be 65,992.15. Okay, now we have to get the net present value. All right, for option number one. So let's go to the Word document and see what we can find there. Something happened to it. Well, there it is. It's there. It's still there. Let's try to move along. And this is question number 3. Okay, so looks like we can get enough space out of it if we just move this in a little bit, maybe, or okay, let's try and see what we can do. Okay, so we'll take this first number here and we will insert it into this right here. Okay, and then we will add this number right here. Put that into here. And we will get a total. Now, let's get the calculator up so we can do the job. So we have the first value, right? We can do it here. It doesn't matter because we can look at this set of numbers here. So that is the present value. Let's make it positive. And let us add 1,386,466.79. And we get a number looking like that. So this answer in here should be 1,452,458.94. Okay, sorry, we got a little bit went astray there. So that would be the present value in. Now, where is the present value out? Well, present value out is what? Oh, sorry. I told you I made a mistake here. This is actually the present value out. Okay, so I put the numbers in the wrong place. Okay, let me correct that, please. This here is the, okay, let's move this first from here. Let's get it out of there, and that is actually the out. Sorry about that. This is the one that is in. So there is nothing to be added there. All right. One is in, one is out. Remember, this is the cost. It's costing $10,600 at end of each month for 14 years. So the present value out is that number, which shows up right under here. Okay, so this is out, and this is in. Okay, this amount right here, that's the present value. All right, so let's go over here again. It's question number 3. Maybe we should make it large so we can see what is happening. So this one is the out and this one is the in. Okay, now it's correct. Remember, let's go back and let's be sure of what we're doing. And this is the, so you see, this is the cost right there. And then this is the residual value. Okay, so that is what we have. So we have that done there. And let's go back now to our Word document. And now we can do this subtraction here. All right, so let's make that a bit smaller, and then we can put the calculator into operation over here, and we can get the calculations done properly. All right, so in minus out would be 65,992.15 minus 1,386,466.79. And that would give us some number. Okay, so let's clear that number there. So 65,992.15, correct? Then we subtract $1,386,466.79. And with that, we come up with a negative number, negative $1,320,474, $320,474.64. All right, so if we round that to the nearest dollar, we will get an answer looking like negative. We have to carry that negative sign. 1,320,474. It would be 475 because it's rounded to the nearest dollar. Okay, so there we are. That is the number. We will go back now and insert it into the question, which is right here. The net present value is negative $1,320,475. Okay, so that is the number for option number 1. Okay, so we're finished with that. Option number 2 is to pay experienced contractors. This will cost $28,000 upfront, $8,500 monthly for 12 years. All right, so $8,500, that is the payment. And it is monthly, so PY would be 12. And of course, we know that the interest is compounded monthly, so that will also be 12. So CY is also 12, and the interest rate is 3.72, as it is stated right here. So let's enter those numbers in so we don't lose track of them. Future value is 0, and N is for how many years? Let's see, that has to be done for 12 years. Okay, it'll take the contractors 12 years. And of course, there's also an upfront amount of $28,000, but that is not entered into the calculation for the present value. That will be the total. That will be involved with the total. Anyway, so let's go and use the 12 years. All right, so if we go and for PY would be 12, and so is CY is 12. So 12 years, we go 12, and we go second N, and N would be 144. 144. Okay, now IY should be the same, so we can recall IY, and it's 372. Present value is what we will compute. All right, the payment is 8,500. So 85,000, and that we put in as the payment. And 0 for the future value. Of course, we can, sorry, we should put that in as negative, correct? Yes, that would be consistent with the way we designate positive or negative for payment. All right, so the present value turns out to be 986,082.89. Okay, now, but this is not the only cost. That is also on top of this upfront $28,000. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to add $28,000. So let's go to our sorry, wrong. So in is what? There is no in. Nothing is coming in. It's all out. Okay, it's all outlays because the paying experienced contractors. $28,000 upfront and $8,500 monthly for 12 years. So everything is out. So the in value would be 0. Okay, and the out would be that number we're seeing right up there, 986,082.89. And then we have to add what? Well, we have to add the upfront amount, which was 28. See, this is option number 2 in case you're losing track. Pay experienced contractors. This will cost $28,000 upfront and at $8,500 monthly for 12 years. So we have to take that number and we have to add $28,000. I think that number is correct if I'm not wrong. Yes, it is $28,000 right here. Okay, so we're fortunate. We have the number up there. We can just say plus 28,000. And with that, we get an answer of 1,014,000. Okay. So down here, we'll get what? Now that number is positive or negative? It should be negative, correct? All right, so let's do it right here. Maybe put in 0.00, put equal 1,014,082.89. Now PV in minus PV out, so we get 0 minus 1,014,082.89. And that would give us a negative $1,014,083. All right, well, we can put 02.89 there, and then in the next line, we can take care of the rounding, 1,014,082, sorry, $83, rounded to the nearest dollar. So that is the number we will insert for our option number 2. It is negative, and it is 1,014,082.083, rounded to the nearest whole number. All right, which option should Kitchen Wilmot Hydro choose? Well, we are making payments. We are making, it's an outflow. Money is going out. So this one, that is the number for option 2. And that is the number for option 1. Now, hopefully, if I can have them both on display at the same time, it's not that easy. Okay, so let's go instead to the Word document. We might be able to see it better. So this is option number 1, right? This is the net present value. All right, but it's negative, remember. Okay, so if we can just maybe highlight it a little bit, there. Now this one is option number 2. All right, we can highlight that number. Also, maybe use a different color, just so that things are different. All right, yes, so we can distinguish them. Now, both are negative, meaning both are outflows. So the lower of the two outflows would be the better choice, meaning you spend less money. So option 2 should be the choice. So the choice is to choose option 2. All right, so maybe we can do it that way. So choose option number 2. So we come back here and we will choose option number 2, and hopefully it is correct. And we submit, and let's see what happens. Yes, everything is doing well. All is marked correct, and option 2 is also correct. And to check that all marks have been obtained, we can go to the top and we see it's 4 out of 4. Okay, so that's a situation where you have 2 options. All right, let's go to the next question. All right, the company has 2 investment opportunities. Okay, alternative 1 or alt 1 pays $9,000 2 years from now and $28,000 4 years from now, meaning those are inflows, those are monies coming in. Alternative 2 or alt 2 pays 5,000 at the end of every year for 5 years. Okay, interest is 8.14% compounded annually, which is the preferable alternative or preferable alternative, whichever way you like to pronounce the word. All right, but prefer, I guess, would kind of put more emphasis on the word that you're making a choice. All right, run the values for present value to the nearest cent, right? So we will do that. Now, if you go down here, it'll say write the discounted cash flow for alternative 1 and alternative 2. Now, you haven't come across this discounted cash flow as yet, right? But this is what, and it's in the literature or the document on Blackboard, that the net present value approach is used to evaluate investment decisions involving cash inflows. All right, so you have inflows and outlays. Okay, so let's maybe just do a little bit of highlighting. So you have inflows, all right, and outlays. All right, now, but there's also this item called discounted cash flow, right? And that's it right here. That is when there is only spending, all right, or only returns, right? So you have spending or return. So you have cash outlays or you have cash inflows. All right, so that is what discounted cash flow is. There's only outlays or inflows, all right? In those cases, we use discounted cash flow, which is essentially, it's a component of net present value. All right, you can say a subset, whatever kind of description you like to use. Anyway, but that is it. And that is how it works. All right, so money in this case is only coming in, nothing's going out. All right, so let's get back to the question. And here is the question. All right, good. Now their alt one is it pays 9,000 2 years from now. Okay, so 2 years from now, it's $9,000. So we go down here and we put in $9,000. This is like compound interest. All right. Now, what is happening? The compounding is annually. So compound interest, PY and CY have the same values. Okay, so PY and CY will all both be 1. Now, this one is for 2 years. Okay, so this one would be 2 times 1, and that would give us 2. Okay, this one over here, they're both the same. This would still be 1, and this will still be 1, the payment and the compounding. This one is 4 years, so this is 4 times 1, and that would be 4. So now you know how these numbers are coming about. All right, okay. So that we'll see when we use the calculator to get these numbers that they are indeed 2 and 4. All right, so the interest rate is 8.14, 8.14, and that will be the same across the board, right? Yes, everything is 8.14. Okay, now present value is what needs to be computed for all cases, right? Yes. So over here, it's also the present value, and over here, it's also the present value. All right. Now, we don't have any payments here. This is 0, and this is also 0. Why? Because we receive 9,000 after 2 years, and then we receive 28,000 4 years from now. So this number here would be 28,000. All right, good. So let's do these first because those are the 2 items for alternative number 1. All right, 2 years and 4 years. So let's go. Okay, second IY, PY should be 1. We put in 1 for PY, and CY is also 1. The first one is 2 years, right? We're doing this one right here. So 2 second NN, and then the interest is 8.14. So there we are. Present value, we're trying to compute that. Payment is 0. So 0 for the payment. The future value is $9,000. That is what is expected 2 years from now. And that present value gives us a number, $7,696.08. All right, so that's the first computation. This computation now is for 4 years. So what will change? Well, this number right here. That is the number that will change. So everything remains the same if you go back in. PY is 1, CY is 1, and we are very happy. So now we have, after 4 years, 4 second N is 4. IY should remain the same, 8.14. Payment should also be 0. But the future value will change. It is now 28,000. 0.28000 future value, and we compute the present value for that number, and that turns out to be $20,474.45 if we round it to 2 decimal places. All right, now we go to alternative 2, and that pays $5,000 at the end of every year for 5 years. So 5,000 is the payment. So payment, we are receiving it. So we put it in positive at the end of every year for 5 years. So the payment is annual, and the compounding is also annual. We know that from before. And here it's for 5 years. Okay, so we'll do that computation very shortly. We can use the calculator. The future value, we will put in 0, and we will compute the present value. Okay, so PY and CY remain the same, meaning 1, right? And then it's 5 years now, so 5 second NN will give us 5 in there. The interest rate remains the same. The present value we're computing, but the payment now is 5,000. So receiving 5,000, we put in for payment, we put 0 for the future value, and then we compute the present value, and that turns out to be $19,890.10. Okay, so now we have our numbers. Now we can do the computation. Now for alternative 1, remember, we have 2 numbers, correct? It was 9,000 after 2 years from now, and 28,000 4 years from now. So this is the number 2 years from now, and this is the number 4 years from now. So to be correct, we should indeed add those numbers, all right, to get them into some kind of, get the correct number that we need, all right? So let's go. So this is question number 4. Alternative 1, maybe if we can move things in a little bit, it will be a lot nicer. So let's go down here. This is alternative 1. So the number for in would be these 2 numbers right here. So that is one of them, right? We can put that number in here. And to that, we will add this number over here. Okay, so let's put that in there. And if we add those numbers, we will get a sum. Yes, S-U-M. Okay, now I think we have one of them up. No, we don't. So let's take these numbers, 7,696.08, and we add 2,0,474 0.45. And we sum those two numbers and we get a grand total of 28,000. I guess we had a little bit of a problem there. Okay, $28,170.53. But we know we have to round these numbers. So what we should do is really, whoops, I think something strange happened. Maybe let's make this large then. Oh no, sorry, nothing strange happened. So let's go PV and we want PV in. So that total is, sorry, and PV, sorry. We got PV in already. Well, PV in we could say is $28,170.53. And then we can go and put in net present value for option number 1 is equal to $28,171. And we can put in there rounded to the nearest dollar. All right, to the nearest dollar. And it held. Okay, great. So that is for option number or alternative number 1. All right, so let's minimize that one and then we can put back the calculator over there. And so what is the answer? Well, we better insert it now. $28,171. Okay. We wish we could put in the 0.00. Alternative 2. Well, that one is quite straightforward. The number is right here. Okay, that is the number. But we have to round that number, so it'll be $19,890. Correct? Yes. So let's go. You could put it into the Word document to make it complete. I guess that was a stray number. And if we go to the, where are we? We can put this number right here and round it. So let's get to the Word document and we go in there and we paste it in there. So the, can say the NPV for this situation here is $19,890. Okay, so those are the two answers. One answer is this number right here. Sorry, this number is errant. So, well, there's an error. It should be $28,171. Okay, so I hope the other one was entered properly. If not, we will check and we will make the necessary changes if required. So there we are. So this is the other value right there. So it should be 28,171. Let's see what we have there. That is correct, yes. So the choice. Now, this money is all what? It's inflow, correct? So the larger number should prevail. We want to get more income or more inflow. So the answer should be choose alternative number 1. And we submit, and seems as though we are correct. Yes, we are. All right, very good. We are correct. We got our 3 out of 3 right here. Okay. Next question. So let's go to the next question now, and here we are. All right, maybe we should spread this out a little bit further so we can see what is happening. All right, a manufacturer can lease a machine for 7 years. So this is a lease for 7 years at $960 per month, payable at the beginning of each month. Please be careful, beginning, all right? Alternatively, they can purchase the machine for $61,000 and sell it for $6,500 in 7 years. The cost of capital is 10.4% compounded annually, meaning cost of capital, you borrow money or whatever, and then that is the cost, 10.4% compounded annually. What is the present value of the cost? Okay, we have two of them. One is the lease right here, and one is a purchase. Correct, yes. So enter a positive value accurate to the nearest dollar. So you want the lease option, or there we go. Where is it? Where is it? Come now, come now. All right, I think it'll work this time. The lease option, and then of course the other one is the purchase option, not the leased option, but the lease, L-E-A-S-E. And then we have 6 choices. We need to choose one. Okay, so this one here, I think it's best if we copy this question and then we try to do it in the Word document. It might be a good idea. So choice is to, right, choose Alt 1, okay? Because it has the greater positive. Okay, we should emphasize that positive value. Okay, so there we are. And we're very happy we did something proper there. All right, good. So let's put the question in here. Maybe that might help us to get to where we're going. Now, so we're in begin mode and the payment is $960 per month. So PY would be 12. I just wanted you to see all the calculations. And the compounding is annually, so CY is 1. Now, when we come in here to calculate N, the payment is for 7 years. So this is the lease option. Now, we should probably put that in bold and underline it, and then we will be a lot better off. All right, so that's that. So how many years? Well, it says 7 years. So 7 is that number right up here. So 7 times what? 7 times 12. Yes, it's the PY value. And that should be 84. Okay, what's the interest rate? The interest rate is 10.4. We see it right up here. So let's put that in. Now, there are no boxes for these in this case. Why? Because you've been doing these things very often. So you should be able to figure these out easily. All right, so $960 per month. Okay, so that's the lease option we're doing right now. Okay, so let's push this over here. All right, I will fix that shortly. And we will put our calculator up. We need that for sure. And we should be careful that this is in the begin mode. So let's highlight it. Maybe we need a bit more of a stronger color. So I will go with pink maybe. Yeah, that looks very nice. So calculator, that's clear. Second PMT, in case you forgot, second enter. Begin is in the top right corner. We quit that mode and there we are. Now we can start. PY is 12, CY is 1. So PY we put in 12 and CY we put in 1. We enter it. PY is 12, CY is 1. Now how many years? Well, this is for 7 years. So 7, second, and N. And N turns out to be 84. So we are correct so far. We're doing well. So 10.4 is the interest. In case you missed it, it's right over here. All right. And what's the present value? Well, that is what we'd like to compute. The payment is $960 per month. So we put in 960, make it negative, and we put in the payment. And we put in the 0 for the future value. And we compute the present value, and that turns out to be $58,424.28, rounded to 2 decimal places. So we have an answer, and that answer should go in here, right? So 58,424. Oh, it's rounded to the nearest dollar, so we can leave it at that. 58,424. Correct? Yes. Okay, it says wrong to the nearest dollar. All right, so that is one option, the lease option. The lease option, L-E-A-S-E. Now let's go to the next one, and that is the purchase option. Okay, so we don't really have to do anything in here. We'll leave that alone. Purchase option. So what does purchase option say? Well, you can purchase it for $61,000 and sell it for $6,500 in 7 years. All right, so the purchase is $61,000. The $6,500 is in 7 years. So we can go and put in the 6,500. That is the return, 6,500, and that is in 7 years, correct? So 7 times what? Well, PY is what? PY is the cost of capital. So the purchase, it's being sold for 6,500. The compounding is annually. So really we're into what? Yeah, we're into compound interest. So PY and CY will be the same. And this would be 7 times 1, which would be, sorry, equal to 7. Okay, and now the interest is the same, 10.4, correct? Yes. And that is compounded annually. So that is 10.4. So let's see here is 10.4, and there's no payment. All right, so let's go and see what we get from that. All right, so second IY, we will have to change PY to 1, okay? And CY will also be 1. Now, there's no fear if you forgot to use get out of begin mode. In fact, it's not. That is true. But it didn't really matter. Why? Because like I told you before, the payment is 0, that's why. But let's get out of the begin mode to make things proper. Right? Yes. Okay, so there we are. We entered the PY and we entered the CY. So this is what? So 7 years from now, so 7 second NN. And the interest rate is still the same, 10.4. We're computing the present value, 0 for payment, and we have $6,500 in 7 years. So what is the present value of that $6,500? And the answer is, it is $3,251.85 if we round it to 2 decimal places. Now, this purchase option is kind of a different story. If you purchase for $61,000, it means what? Yes, that the P out is 61,000. I think that is what I saw, if I'm not wrong. Was that it? Sorry, 61,000. Yeah, that is correct. There is the number right here, $61,000. Okay? All right, so that is the purchase price. And then that is the today value, the present value. So that is the 61,000, correct? What happened there? Where did I put it? Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong spot, the lease value. All right, so maybe we will do better if we just clear this out of here. And there'll be no confusion like what happened just now. So $61,000, all right? The amount that's coming in after the 7 years, the present value of that is $3,251.85. So P in minus P out is what? Well, we have $3,251.85. And if we subtract the out is $61,000, and we will get a number for that. So if we can make this positive, or let's just clear it and put the 3251.85, and then we subtract the 61,000. And so we get a number, and that number is what? This will cost 57,000. Sorry, I should put a negative. $57,748.15. All right, sorry, I think I was a little bit premature deleting that bit of information up there. So what I will do is I will take this here and I will put it back in there, right? But of course our numbers will be different. So, okay, so here we are. I can put it back in here. It comes all the way over there. There might be a little bit of, okay, that is why there's the page break. Okay, so we will use this and move this over. Okay, so we're doing quite well now. All right, so what is happening here? Well, this, the lease option, we're paying all the time. So the in value is 0. And the out value is that number we see right up there. The 51,000, no, sorry, $58,424.28. So the in is 0, right? Let's wipe this out. So the in is 0 and the out is 58,424.28. All right, so the net present value would be negative 58,424. All right, that is the number, and this is the answer right here. All right, so let's put that in green. That number is 58,424. This number here is what? Well, a negative 57748. Okay, so this number is 57748. Okay, so we have the two numbers and we need to compare them now. Let's go back. Sorry, 58424, was that number correct? 58424, okay. 57748. So let's put that in there. 57748. Okay, so what is happening? Well, we have to enter positive values, but we know we're paying. So this is the larger payment or outflow. This is the smaller outflow. So this will cost us less. All right, so let's see the options. The lease, since purchase present value is higher than the lease present value. Well, that doesn't make too much sense for us. If the purchase value is higher than the lease, since the purchase present value, okay, present value for purchasing is higher than the lease present value, we won't do that. I actually could eliminate the ones where it says to purchase if the lease present value, this is saying to purchase since the lease present value is higher than the purchase present value. Okay, well, you wouldn't purchase, you purchase because the lease present value is higher than the purchase present value. Does that look correct? It probably looks correct. Yes, the lease present value is higher than the purchase present value. Let's keep going. Purchase, since the purchase present value is higher than the lease present value, well, the purchase present value is lower, right? So purchase, since the lease present value is lower than the purchase present value. Well, that's not true because the lease present value is higher. Lease, since the lease present value is higher than the purchase present value. Why would you lease? Why would you lease? If the present value for the lease is higher than the purchase present value. All right, these are can be very confusing. You lease since the purchase present value is lower than the lease present value. Okay, the purchase present value is indeed lower than the lease present value, but you wouldn't lease, you will purchase. You purchase because the lease present value, this lease present value is is higher than the purchase present value. Look it over and think about it. I think that's the correct answer. Let's check our answers. We submit and we are correct. Yes. Okay, so this can be quite confusing, but you're purchasing because the lease present value right here is higher than the purchase present value. Okay, I hope you got all of that. And that is it. Those are the 5 questions in this quiz number 8.